Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dear Chiquis. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day and also have something fun planned for the weekend. And this is Dear Chiquis. So this is where people ask me questions about anything and everything, and I answer them wholeheartedly like a big sister. So I think we should get this started. Yeah? Okay. First listener. Her name is Judith. Let's see what question she has.
Hi, Chiquis. This is Judith from New York. We met a few years ago at a We All Girl Latina event in Long Beach, California. And it was such an honor to meet you and your sisters. You guys are so amazing, so down to earth. And I love that. I think that's why a lot of people relate with you girls. I've been watching Chiquis Sin Filtro, and I got my husband on it too. And he's like, wow, like, she's really cool. Like, I'm like, yeah, people, watch our documentary. She's really amazing. Anyways, he had a question, so I'm submitting it for him. And his question was, would you ever open a restaurant? We saw that you were like going to all these different restaurants when you in Ensenada, when you went out with your friends. I'm like, she probably has a really good palate. Like, she should definitely open up a restaurant. Would you ever do that? Anyways, we love you and we bless you, and we pray that God continues to help you with all your dreams and aspirations.
Oh, Judith, thank you. May God bless you and your husband and your relationship. Thank you so much. Thank you for getting him on Chiquis Sin Filtro. That makes me really happy. And yes, a lot of people have been commenting on how I'm eating in almost every episode or every scene. Yes, that is my life. I like to eat. I am a foodie. And I don't have plans in opening a restaurant per se, but I've had the idea of having a food truck, and I have the name of it and everything. But that's kind of like on the back burner right now because of, my career and stuff. But everyone that owns a restaurant that I know, they say it's a lot of work. So I just want to make sure that when and if I want to do that, because I do love food and I feel like I'd have a pretty bomb ass restaurant, I want to just focus on that, But it's not a bad idea. Maybe I could start off with the food truck first because I love to eat. That is correct. I'm a very good food critic too. But anyways, thank you so much for your question, and tell your husband I said hello, and keep watching Chiquis Sin Filtro. Okay, guys, so our next question comes from an anonymous listener. Okay, let's see.
Hi, Chiquis. I was hoping that you can give me some advice on what to do. I know that the following may or may not be a little bit triggering for yourself or for the other listeners, but my best friend actually, who was molested as a child, and her parents were aware, and her parents never really did anything about it, never really helped her heal, never really took her to therapy or talked to her about it, and they actually... the person that did this to her is still in her family and still around. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I've had this friend for 10 years. She's been my best friend. And recently I feel like all of the trauma has really been bottling up for her because it was never dealt with. She's becoming very erratic, very chaotic, very aggressive, very defensive, very like, you don't understand what happened to me, which I don't, obviously, because it didn't happen to me, So I was just hoping that maybe you can give me some advice on how to navigate, how to help her, how to be there for her. I really just want to make her know that she's not alone in this world, because she is giving me signs that she may be thinking about hurting herself if she hasn't already. So I just, and her parents are calling me with concerns as well. So I just don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help her. So I was just hoping that you can give me some advice on how to navigate this, because, I know you went through something very similar.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this one's tough because it's such a delicate subject. I definitely feel that she feels like she's not validated, and that can affect you a lot in so many different ways. So it definitely will, surface with time. I mean, I even thought that I had gotten over my dad's situation. I had forgiven him. But then as I've gotten older and before I got married, I felt this like need of needing to go see him. And anyway, so it comes up, as we get older, as life just does its thing, so it's very normal. I think as her friend, definitely don't take anything that she may say to you or the way she may act personal. Just be there for her. If you can, get her some type of therapy. I think if you could say, hey, I'm going to gift you at least one session or whatever it is that you can. I know that there are programs that they have free therapy, because I know therapy can be expensive, but therapy will definitely help her. You did mention her parents calling you and they're very worried. I don't know if this is crossing a line. It might be, but maybe it'd be a good idea for you to mention it to her parents, how you feel that this situation that they didn't deal with is now affecting her. And maybe a conversation between her and her parents, and maybe this person that did this to her can just not be around. I think that's also going to help her, because maybe the more she sees this person, she feels like no one listens to me, and it's becoming like a bigger issue within herself. And I totally understand that. So maybe it's worth having a conversation with her parents. Hopefully she doesn't get upset, but it's like someone needs to kind of deal with and talk about the big ass elephant in the room that everyone's trying to ignore. It's not okay for her. It's not fair to her. So those are my suggestions, and I hope that they help. And especially if you feel she's going to hurt herself, you need to call the authority. You need to help her. You need to, don't ignore the signs, babe. So I'm wishing her the very best. Sending her a big hug and a lot of healing energy. Oh, because that's tough. It's tough, especially when you don't feel heard, you don't feel seen. It's like, it's not cool. And you guys, anyone out there that has thoughts of hurting themselves constantly, even if it's just one time, please call or text 988 so that they can help you and guide you and give you some support, okay? And you guys, they also have services available in Spanish, which I think is great. Remember, 988. But thank you so much for your question, and I hope I was able to help you. Okay, guys, our next question comes from Diana.
Hi, Chiquis. I've been a big fan of your mom, and now I follow you. I just want to know how you did it to move on from the biggest breakup that you had, and what did you do to be who you are now? I'm trying. I finally started going back to college, and I am going to boxing, but I still cannot get over him, and I cannot focus. Me having problems with my kids too. My older kids do not talk to me, and I'm so lost, and I need so much help, and I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh, Diana, it's tough. I know how hard it is. I was in a very deep depression during that time. It's a pain that I don't wish upon anybody, so I feel you. What helped me was just focusing on myself, and it's always easier to blame the other person and say, oh my goodness, they did this, they did that, and like we're pointing the fingers, not looking at ourselves. And I think once we forget about that, about them and what they did, and we start focusing on, okay, how can I become a better person, a better partner, so that I don't continue to feel this? I didn't want to feel that anymore. So I said, I really need to do therapy. I need to read books. I watched videos on YouTube. I just did anything and everything that made my heart feel better. I started meditating. That's when I started meditating heavily. That helped me so much. There's guided meditation, so look into that. Also going to church. The boxing is great. It helps you release aggression and tension and everything. So just keep doing that. Be patient with yourself. Hug yourself. Literally hug yourself. When you're crying, what has made me feel good is like I just hug myself and I cry. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Giving yourself a hug is so powerful. I know it might sound silly, but it's helped me so much, you guys. Like that inner child that we have that wants to be loved and held. Like if you just take the time to hold yourself and know, you know what, this pain will pass. This too shall pass. Embrace that pain and pray. Just pray your way through it. Do anything and everything that makes your heart feel good. If you can start talking to your kids, I don't know why you're not talking to your older kids, but maybe reach out to them, like start healing certain relationships. That's going to help you as well. It's going to take time. Be patient, be compassionate with yourself. Don't try to rush things. Just cry through it. Cry through it. Don't go back though. I don't know what the situation is. Don't go backwards. Keep going forward and know that it will pass. I promise you. I was on the floor, girl. on the floor. Look at me now, girl. We got this. I believe in you, Diana. Keep us updated, please. I'm praying for you. Oh, heartbreak is tough, guys. Okay. Diana, we're sending you, all of Dear Chiquis listeners and viewers, we're sending you lots of hugs and kisses. You guys, please send her good vibes. Okay, guys, our final question comes from Mayra. Let's see.
Hi, Chiquis. I am a fan of yours. I just love your personality, how open you are with your fans. To be honest with you, I don't really listen to a lot of rancheras. You know, I'm originally from Uruguay, so it's not something that I grew up with. But for some reason, you just catch my attention, and sometimes I do listen to your music, you know, here and there. But I mainly just like you as a person. I think you're awesome. I love following you on Instagram and seeing you on TV and things like that. But anyways, my question is, would you ever consider having your mom's ex-husband on the podcast just to kind of like clear the air, or have your fans listen to, you know, an interview with him? Not trying to be messy. I'm just wondering, you know, would you ever consider that just to kind of clear things up with, you know, questions that people had about you and his relationship? Would that be something that you will ever consider? Don't get mad at me. I'm just want to know.
Mayra, I am not upset with you. This is what Dear Chiquis is all about. I open up my podcast, my heart, my mind to you guys to ask me anything and everything. And I'm not afraid to answer any question, to be honest. Thank you for your question. Thank you. You are so sweet. Thank you for being so straight up. I love that. I appreciate everything that you said. Now, regarding your question, I've never thought about that, to be honest, until you brought it up. And I'm like, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I think for a long time, I was afraid to even speak to him, even if he was like checking to see how Johnny was doing, because I was like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? But in reality, I have nothing bad to say about that man. He was so good to my mother, so good to my siblings, especially Johnny. Johnny was a tough ass kid to be around sometimes. He had a very bad attitude, and he'll say this himself. So I'm very grateful with him. It's just unfortunate that everything happened the way it did, and he was dragged through the dirt as well. Mind you, I don't know what happened in the relationship with my mom and him, and, you know, maybe he did do certain things. I don't know, but my experience seeing how he was with my mom, like, I have nothing bad to say about him. I mean, it's something I would want to talk to my siblings about, to be honest, to see if they're okay with it. That's the only opinion that matters to me, and of course my husband's. But hey, it's something to definitely think about, and I'm down to do it. I have nothing to hide. I have no worries at all, and I'm sure he feels the same way. So maybe it's a pretty good idea, Mayra. Let me talk to my siblings and I'll get back to you on that. But thank you for your question. Thank you all. I'm really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm hoping that my advice is able to help you guys. That is all I ever want. And not only help the person that's asking, but those of you that are listening and watching. I just want to be here, you know, helping the world in any way that I can. So you guys, thank you so much. And if you have a question and you still haven't felt like the courage to leave a question, you don't have to leave your name. It could be anonymous. I love knowing your name, but if you don't want anyone to know your name, I'm fine with that. Just ask me whatever you want, okay? And you can leave your question at speakpipe.com/Chiquis and Chill podcast. Los quiero mucho y los veo en la próxima. Besitos. This is a production of iHeartRadio and My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcasts and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.